Hi, my name is Lisa Wade, and I'm with Plant-Based Advocates in Los Gatos. Today, I'm really excited to show you my favorite breakfast. In fact, it's my only breakfast because I eat it every day. I really, really love this breakfast and I crave it every day. So I'm really excited to share it with you. It is a super healthy breakfast. It's really delicious, as I said, and it's 100% vegan. Now, what this is an overnight oat berry bowl. Now, what's fantastic about overnight oats is that you can prepare them the day before or the night before, or even actually a couple of days before, and then put them in the refrigerator and take them out the next morning to eat for breakfast. The idea is that you put oats in a bowl and then add some liquid, and the oats will absorb the liquid and become soft. Now, some people might want to cook their oats before assembling their bowl. I don't do that. I find that my oats are soft enough and creamy enough for me, just simply by soaking them overnight. But if you want softer oats or creamier oats, you can always cook your oats. It's very easy to do. You just use 1 cup of water or plant-based milk per half cup of oats. So you would get a cup of water or your favorite plant-based milk and bring it to a boil over the stove, then add half a cup of oats to it. You could add a dash of salt if you wanted to. I don't usually add salt to my food, but you might want to do that. And then you put the oats in after the liquid has come to a boil. You stir them in. Cook them for about 5 minutes on medium heat, stirring occasionally. Then you can put them into your bowl and follow the rest of the instructions that I'm going to share. But like I said, I don't cook my oats. I find it's time saving just to put them in the bowl. And like I said, they, to me, taste really delicious this way. Now, oftentimes I will just add water because for me, that's fine. But if you do want a creamier oat bowl, then you could add your favorite kind of plant-based milk. I'm using soy milk today, but there are certainly many, many kinds of plant-based milk, and you would use your favorite milk. You could use flax milk, cashew milk, rice milk. There are just about a million plant-based milks these days to choose from. So you can experiment and find your favorite. So you just pour enough milk to cover the oats or enough water. And now I'm going to add my spices. Now, our family loves spices, so we buy them in bulk. It's very cost effective to buy the spices in bulk and use them. You might not want to use as many spices as I'm going to demonstrate. If that's the case, you can just have your shakers of spices, and then I would recommend that you shake the spices on at the end of the bowl, or actually before you eat your bowl. But since I eat a lot of spices, I'm going to put them in at this stage because I like to make sure that they are stirred around. And also, I don't like to add large quantities of spices on top of the berries because it kind of deadens the taste. So first I'm going to add cinnamon. Now, there are 2 kinds of cinnamon, or 2 main kinds of cinnamon, I should say. Ceylon cinnamon and cassia cinnamon. Now, cassia cinnamon is the cinnamon that is most commonly found in baked goods and the one that most people think of when they think of cinnamon. It's also the sweetest and most delicious kind of cinnamon. So you could use that. Now, I prefer to use Ceylon cinnamon though, because cinnamon has something in it called coumarin. And if you eat a lot of cinnamon, you could eat too much coumarin, coumarin can be toxic in higher amounts. So if you're eating like a teaspoon or more of cinnamon a day, then I would definitely use Ceylon cinnamon. If you're just kind of sprinkling some on, then I wouldn't worry about it. Now, like I said, I use a lot of cinnamon, so I'm going to use Ceylon cinnamon, and I use a tablespoon of cinnamon on my bowl. Then I will use about a teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, the spices that I like in my berry bowl are the spices that you think of as fall spices, the kind of spices you find in pumpkin pies and apple cider. I eat my berry bowl all year round, not just in the fall, but I find that these flavors are really delicious with a berry bowl. So this is a teaspoon of ginger, of course. Then I also like to add cloves. Smells so good. Now the cloves are pretty concentrated, so I'm just going to put in a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. Now I like to mix the spices up really well so that the flavor profile is well blended. So I just stir it up, and then I will add my berries. Now, we like to use frozen berries because they're more cost effective, and also they're actually really nutritious. And the reason is that most fruits, including berries that you buy from the store, are actually picked before they are really ripe. And the reason is so that, of course, they don't, become overripe before they're sold. So the advantage of buying frozen fruit is that the fruit is frozen just at its peak, and it retains all of its wonderful nutrients that way. So usually we'll buy those big bags of frozen berries from Costco. Costco has a fantastic, really reasonably priced bag of mixed berries. And the particular berries that they use are just really delicious. They have a wonderful berry blend. So I would certainly recommend using the Costco brand if you're a member of Costco. We haven't been able to get to Costco for a while, so I'm just using frozen fruit from various other stores that I had to mix myself. So I like a sweet and sour flavor profile. So I like to have either some frozen raspberries or frozen cranberries, something to add a little bit of sourness, a little bit of tartness to my bowl. So this is actually a mixture of both cranberries and raspberries that I'm going to put in the bottom of my oat bowl to add that little bit of tartness, that little bit of sourness. Then I'm going to add some frozen blueberries, and these are actually wild blueberries, which are wonderful. They're really tiny blueberries and very, very healthy. So I'm going to, actually, the bag is almost finished, so I'm just going to pour the rest of these beautiful frozen blueberries into my bowl. And then on top, I like to add strawberries. I love strawberries. They're so sweet and so delicious. Definitely fulfills my sweet tooth. Now, if you want to sweeten your bowl further, you could add some maple syrup. Maple syrup goes really well with this flavor profile. And of course, Dr. William Li, who has that wonderful TED Talk on how to eat to starve cancer cells, he actually recommends that people use maple syrup as their sweetener because it has a lot of bioactives and cancer-fighting compounds in it, which was surprising to me. I didn't know that. I've always loved maple syrup, but didn't know that it was actually in that way healthy. Now, of course, it is still sugar, so I try to stay away from any kind of added sugar. But you could add maple syrup, you could add date sugar, because of course date sugar also has a lot of antioxidants in it. Or you could, even better, chop up a piece of dried fruit or a few pieces of dried fruit. I will sometimes chop up some dried apricots if I feel like I need it a little sweeter. But usually this berry bowl, just as is plenty sweet enough for me. It's really amazing and delicious. So at this point, I will go ahead and put my oatmeal bowl into the refrigerator so that it can soak overnight. Now, I should mention that I will often make an assembly line since I have all the ingredients out, I will often make 3 or 4 or even 5 bowls at a time so that I'm just set for the week for my breakfasts. So what I'm going to do is put this in the refrigerator and let it soften overnight. And then I'm going to pretend now that it's the morning and I have a bowl that I prepared ahead of time. What I will do is I will take this bowl out early in the morning before I eat my breakfast, and I'll just take the lid off and let it warm to room temperature. Now, some days I really crave a warm, comforting berry bowl, like when it's really cold outside, it's really cozy to have a nice warm bowl. So in that case, I will put it in the microwave or I'll put it in the toaster oven just to warm it up some extra. Now, I also like to add some nuts and seeds to my bowl. I like to add flax seeds because they're really, really very, very healthy. And what we do is we grind our flax seeds fresh in a coffee grinder. The reason we do that is if you buy whole flax seeds, you're not going to get the nutrition from the flax seeds because they have this little seed coat around them that will literally just pass through your body and you won't get any of the wonderful nutrients. Flax seeds are so healthy. They have, of course, a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, which can be hard to get. Most of us eat more omega-6s than omega-3s, so you can really increase your omega-3 intake by having flax seeds, and also walnuts and other nuts and seeds. So the thing about ground flax seeds, though, is that they do go rancid pretty quickly, and they also lose their nutrients pretty quickly. So you can certainly buy those bags of pre-ground flax seeds from the store, and those are wonderful. Just make sure they go straight into the refrigerator, and then you don't keep them hanging around for too long. You should really eat them as soon as you can so that they don't lose their nutrients. What we do is we put our whole flax seeds, we just buy a bag of whole flax seeds, and we put them in a coffee grinder. And so we can just grind them fresh onto our bowls. So I'm just going to grind some fresh, wonderful flax seeds onto my bowl. Now, you can use any kind of nuts and seeds you like for your bowl. You could use chia seeds. They should also be ground up, though, because they have the same issue as the flax seeds, where they have that little shell around them, and you won't get the great nutrients if you don't grind them up. You could even mix flax seeds and chia seeds into a grinder together and then just grind them over your bowl. Sometimes I will use sunflower seeds, sometimes I will use pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, of course, have wonderful nutrients, zinc and vitamin E and all these lovely things. But I also love to add nuts. So I'm going to add today raw walnuts. Dr. Greger says that walnuts are the healthiest kind of nut. They have a lot of omega-3s and they taste absolutely delicious on your bowl. Now you can add any kind of nut you like. Pecans are amazing on this bowl too. I also sometimes have almonds and, you know, cashews, whatever you have around. But walnuts are actually probably my favorite kind of nut for this bowl. Now the reason I put the walnuts, the nuts and seeds actually in general, on last is because I don't want them to get soggy overnight in the refrigerator. I like my nuts to be kind of crunchy. Now some people like to sprout their nuts, and that's fine. You could put your nuts in a little bowl with some water overnight, and then they will sprout, and then they'll be even more nutritious, and you can add them to your bowl. But like I said, I actually like crunchy nuts, so I'm going to put some crunchy walnuts on my bowl. Now, this bowl is very adaptable. You can add whatever kind of frozen fruit or fresh fruit you have in the house. I know my father-in-law likes to have blueberries and frozen blueberries or fresh blueberries, and then maybe add some chopped up apple to it. I like to add a banana to my bowl. I will do that at the last minute, of course, because I don't want the banana to go brown and get old in the refrigerator, so I will put it on just before I eat it. And you'll notice this banana is slightly green. I like to get green bananas because they contain something called inulin, which is actually really good for our gut bacteria. But I will, of course, also use ripe bananas because they're sweet and wonderful and delicious. So I'm going to just chop this up. And this is my beautiful, tasty, delicious oat bowl. Now, as I said, some people might not want to use as many spices as I do, and they might want to sprinkle some spices on at the end. So I would do that, you know, like I said, right before you eat the bowl. Preferably, you can just sort of sprinkle on your spices. I'll just pretend to sprinkle on some spices. Now, I just wanted to mention that oats are a really, really healthy food. They have a lot of antioxidants. I didn't actually know that, but surprisingly they do. They also reduce your cholesterol, and they can stabilize your blood sugar. In addition, they have a lot of wonderful vitamins and minerals. They have zinc, selenium, magnesium, and more. They're, of course, great for your heart and really good for your gut bacteria and just for cleaning everything out. They're just an absolutely wonderful food. Berries, of course, are a superfood. So good for the brain and so packed with antioxidants. So as you can tell, it's a really, really healthy breakfast, and it is completely delicious. I would love it if you experiment with your bowl, trying out your favorite spices, your favorite kinds of fruit and nuts and seeds. and really dial it in to where it makes your taste buds sing. My berry bowl is absolutely, I have just dialed it into perfection. I just love my berry bowl. Like I said, I actually look forward to it every single day. And I hope, like I said, that you'll experiment and try some new things on your own. So leave me a comment in the comments section and let me know if you tried this berry bowl. Let me know what adaptations you made. Let me know what you tried and what tasted good to you. If you like this video, please hit the like button and of course share it around, and I will see you next time.